So, good day everyone. It is your host here, Leanne. I am currently in the local park because it's a pretty day today and I'm just like, let me go out. So, I'm here and there's like barely anyone out. Like, score. So, today I kind of want to talk about like a lot of things, but I kind of want to focus on like first love in terms of renewing your mind on who Yeshua is, who Jesus is, and allowing that to be like your song for your current season or your next season. And it's like, when you first meet someone, it's kind of like you want to get to know them more. You want to make sure you know what they like and dislike. You want to learn about that person. But then I feel like when it comes to us and God, we don't really have that. I hear stuff. Oh, it's a squirrel. I hear stuff moving. Like, interesting. I don't. You don't really feel like when it comes to you and God, it's like, yeah, I know about you, God, but it's like, what about actually getting to know Him on like a day-to-day, like casual level, as well as like still keeping that level of sovereignty of like reverence. And I just feel like if we as believers understand like tiny bits about God each day, it's like, that can change your perspective in such an environment like we are today, especially where there's a lot of like hopelessness. Oh, that's not a good shot. Nope, here we go. A lot of hopelessness, a lot of like, how do I deal with all the reality happening around me? Politics being one of them, like day to day. Like politics doesn't just like, it's not just what's happening with politicians and government, but that can trickle down to what's happening in your personal life, because what you see happening at the top can really flow down to the people, just like average people. And so like, in the midst of all of this, like how do you still stay fixed and focused, and how do you remain like at peace in that? And I kind of feel like the connection is who is Jesus in your life, who is Yeshua in your life. And like, I think when you start to think about like who He is, then you can really get into a sense of like, it's at the end of the day, I'm gonna have all these feelings, I'm gonna have all these questions and worries. They are there, but it's like, how do I react to all of them? Do I stay in that and wallow in it, or do I just, at the end of the day, everything is well, even though you can't see like beyond where you are. It's like, the fact is that we serve a God who's like Alpha and Omega, like the beginning and the end. And so when you begin to like put your trust in that knowledge and who He is, it's like, it's not necessarily going to be a walk in a park, but it can also be quite like, it can be peaceful even in the worst situations, even when you're like, I'm angry at you, God, even if you're like, I don't understand you, God, even if you're like, oh, let me get at the shade. There we go. I'm such a newbie. so I just think that, being in a position where you can say, okay, Lord, I don't get it, but it doesn't matter if I don't understand everything. Like the bits that I do know, I'm gonna work with that. And why I even bring that up is because I'm in a space where, even though I'm still transitioning back to England, and I'm transitioning into a new environment, where I'm going into like education, like going back into university, and I'm like, oh, this is different. This is real different. Like, just not knowing like where, like just not knowing like the day to day, like I've been working for so long, I know my routine, and now like routine's been shifted, and I have to be okay with the routine being out of focus or out of shift. And I'm like, how do I do that? Because it's been 7-ish years since I've been in uni, and when I was in uni, that was all I knew. And now like I've grown so much since then, and I had to magically learn how to be like okay with what's happening next. And I'm like, I think I know, but I don't know. you know. And so yeah, it's not necessarily a random topic, but it's like, you know what, my first love, when I was back in uni, I definitely was like, wow, Lord, you're so cool, like you're amazing, how can I, like, I was enamored by the Lord. And so I'm like, you know what, I think now would be a good time to get back to that, because ultimately I'm not Leanne in 2012 or 2013. Like, I'm a very different person, and same to you. Like, you're not the same person where you were when you first met the Lord, but it's totally, I think, needed to go back to your first love, to like renew it, and to almost be like in awe, as if this is the first time you've met the Lord. And so some practical ways to do that is to ask the Lord to renew your mind, simply like for a fresh perspective of the word, of the Lord, of your situation. Now, I've grown up in England for a long time, and so you kind of see the day to day of your own hometown like boring. Like, there's nothing interesting from what I think is from in my town. But for someone else, like, whoa, there's a lot of parks in London, and there's a lot of like trees, and I'm just like, but yeah, that's normal. Like, but for someone's new, it's like, whoa, but you have this, and in my city, in my country, you don't have this, and it's like, oh. So just like finding that childlike wonder, and just being okay with like seeing things you see literally every day, but in a new perspective. That's it, really. Hope you have a great day. Keep reading the word, keep your focus, keep your hearing on the Lord, because that really does that can really have an effect on your day to day. Anyway, take care, have a great day. Bye.